Hello friends, welcome to ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we will drop a grid view control in the form and configure it. Alright, let us configure the grid view control and we will go to the demo now. Alright, we will create a new project and we will choose ASP.NET web application. Let's choose C folder demo and we will name this as data grid examples. Let's go ahead with the empty web form. So it's creating the project. Now we will move to Solution Explorer and we will add our first web form. Or we will use data bind simple grid view. GridView 01 simple grid view, and we will add the web form. Let's go to design view and you can see the web form here, gv01 simple grid view.aspx. Let's go to toolbox. So the grid view control is available under data section, so you can simply drag and drop it to the web form, and here you can see the grid view control. So the grid view control is organized in the form of rows and columns. So as already told, this is in tabular format, and this is the first column, and this one is the second column, and this is the third column. Similarly, the collection of column or the first row represents the first record, and here if you see, the sample is showing 5 records. But when you run, it will not display anything as we don't have any dynamic data fed into it. Right. Here we are inside the SQL Server Management Studio. We will go for new query and pick database as pubs. Select star from authors, and you can see the data here, and from this we will pick some of the fields and display that in the grid view control. So we will stop running it and we will drag and drop SqlDataSource. We can do it this way, or we can simply go ahead and click the data source here and choose to pick a new data source. Here there are multiple data sources available. Here we are using the SQL database because we want to connect to the pubs database. So we will name it as DS authors, dataset authors, and here we are clicking OK. So connection string, we will choose localhost. So the database is running in my local machine, and choosing Windows authentication. If you need, you can go for SQL Server authentication. With the Windows authentication, here we are picking the pubs database. And the connection string shows here data source is localhost, initial catalog is pubs, and integrated security is set to true. Let's go with this default connection string name. So here all the tables in the pubs database is displayed. We are going with the authors and picking author ID, first name, phone, address, city, and state. And you can see the query is formed here dynamically. Now let's click next. Now we will test the query, and you can see the data that we are picking from the authors table of the pubs database is shown here. Let's click finish. So we configured our data grid view, and you can see when we choose this option, it created a SqlDataSource. So this is the SqlDataSource, and this SqlDataSource is configured to pick data from authors table of the pubs database, and then this data source is linked to this data grid view. Now we will see how it is presenting the data in tabular format. So that's all. Now the data grid view is displaying author ID, first name, phone, address, city, and state in tabular format. So that's the use of grid view. We just dragged and dropped a grid view control in our Windows form. Then we configured the data source, and that's all. Right. So now the grid view, which is linked to the data source and which we configured, is displaying the data for us. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.